August, I never got to have a birthday party in the elementary school classroom. So I always felt a little bit out of it. But tonight, this certainly does make up for it, and I appreciate the best wishes. And Mr. Noel, I'm going to deal with you later.
Thank you. Councilwoman.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to congratulate you know who I'm talking to. the organizers of the Damn Short Film Festival. I need it in front of me to be able to pronounce it steadily. We talk all the time, and I can't pronounce her name.
Now pronounce it.
Svetlana.
Very good.
Anyway, it was just so wonderful over the weekend to drive downtown and see all the people in town. And Saturday night there was a lot going on. There was the Damn Short Film Festival. They had the opening of Two Wheels. They had the wine walk. It was so fun to drive downtown and see all these ladies in pajamas sipping their wine and shopping. And then there was a celebration for a hair salon that had been open 3 years, so it was fun. And they had tacos, so I stopped in for some free tacos. Anyway, what a great night. But I talked to one of the management level people at the LVCVA who came out for the Damn Short Film Festival, and he just raved about it. And so the word is getting out, and he said it was the best money he'd spent in a long time. And he said, I couldn't find a place to park, had great food, enjoyed the film festival. So congratulations on a great event. Also, I mentioned it earlier with respect to the finance report that funds are down a little bit at the convention center. I've talked about this before, but from where the general fund was a year ago, it's down about 2.6%, but they project that next year is going to be much better. Also, for the Southern Nevada Water Authority, officially, we got some heads up about it, but they're going to aggressively start a campaign for conservation. It's a drought contingency plan because the level of Lake Mead is so low. So it's projected that in 2020, the Bureau of Reclamation will declare a shortage. So to get ahead of that, the Southern Nevada Water Authority is going to launch a plan that will increase financial incentives for people conserving water, increase enforcement, and offer more education about conservation. So I wanted to let you know about that.
Thank you. Mr. McManus.
I would just like to mention again the grant that our animal shelter and Inhibit was able to procure. Actually, it looks like they sought them out by reputation. The turnaround out there just can't be described as even a 180. She's done a fabulous job out there. And secondly, just for a clarification, when I was referring to the strategic plan sessions, there were for the council, once the public input had been received, and I believe we held those at 7:30 in the morning or something midweek. Not a lot of folks joined us for those, so that's what I was referring to. We did have good output for the other meetings, but once we got together to establish our goals, the Smith Center looks very large when it's just the few of us in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Schuman.
Happy birthday, Councilman Harhe. Those cakes are good. I just ate one of those last month. I ate mine during the meeting, so. The Damn Short Film Festival, everything Councilman Levitt said is correct. And what I noticed was just how much it grew, just how bigger every year. So I have high hopes to where that's going in the future. Nice job to everybody that put that on. It's great. With regards to emergency aid, I just want to publicly, state that what an invaluable service it is to the community, and anybody who receives aid from there or works there or volunteers there should really rest assured that that would never go away. In my opinion, I could never see that going away. The utilities infrastructure study that's going on by no means will affect anybody who receives aid from emergency aid or any of the operations that go on down there, as far as I can tell. And so I hope that anybody, that some people will take some comfort in that and not be too alarmed by what's going on at the moment with that building, with that property. I had something else, but I'll conclude it there. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, and on that subject, I don't know where rumors get started in the city all the time, but this facility study is for all of the city's facilities, and so we do that to determine, what's the best use for everything, and so certainly the water and power building isn't being singled out. I know that over the years that I've been on city council, that building and the Smith Center and other buildings, there's always been proposed uses, different uses, rumors that have started, and so just to quell any concern, until that study comes back on all the city facilities, we won't even know what's being recommended. And I would echo what everybody said about emergency aid, including the public comment. It's one of our great, not only food pantries, but provides services in so many other ways. And as you know, the city supports emergency aid every year, and it's a fantastic organization. It sets us apart from the other jurisdictions in Southern Nevada. It's really a shining star for Boulder City. I also wanted to thank everybody. I know that we had the Mayor's Forum last night. We're going to have, and that was hosted by the American Legion. Glenn Fan was gracious enough to kind of be the sheriff there last night and take care of that. I know that we had several of you there. We'll have a city council forum in 2 weeks. What's the date of that? 25th. I encourage everybody to go out to that. I know we have at least six of our 8 city council candidates here tonight, and it's great to see you all. So you guys get to be put on the hot seat in 2 weeks and have fun with that. But I love Boulder City politics in terms of the citizen involvement, and it's just a great place to be. So thanks for all you do for our community, and meeting adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.
How you doing? You missed me the other day. I'm not sorry. I'm just Tim. I go over to the senior center and chat with them.
All right. Oh, you want me up front? Sorry about that. I'm going to step down here. Okay. Good morning. If everyone would stand, and if the gentlemen will remove their hats, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets struck the land, the bombs bursting in air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
Good morning. I'm Susan Johnson, and I am one of the directors of the board for our Boulder City Senior Center. I want to welcome you to the Boulder City Senior Center Meals on Wheels Rock, Roll, and Stroll. We are so grateful for your being here. And did we not get a beautiful morning? This is perfect. We want to let you know that our Meals on Wheels program is such an important part of our senior center. We provide hot meals to between 40 and 60 homebound seniors. And your participation here today allows that program to continue to be a vital part of our community. And so we thank you for that. We want to thank our sponsors and our donors and our volunteers, and especially our hard-working committee that was chaired by Peggy Levitt. Would you come up here, Peggy? Big hand for Peggy. We have had many, many hard-working people that have put this together. And we want you to participate with us today. We are going to be rolling around the lake over there. We're going to be strolling around the perimeter of the cones, and we are going to be rocking. So we have so many fun things. We've got entertainment from the Browns and the Pickers, and from Joe Rowe, who did our pledge, one of our wonderful seniors who come to our senior center regularly. So enjoy. We thank you for being here, and I'd like now to introduce our mayor, Rod Woodbury.
Good morning, everybody. Isn't it a beautiful day? It's it couldn't get much better than this, and I really am honored to be here this morning to welcome you to the Rock, Roll, and Stroll. You know, Peggy mentioned some things going on. I have my eyes on the cinnamon rolls over there. That's the best part. $2 is cheap. I was thinking I could get one for 10 or 15, but good refreshments. We got great musical entertainment here. And I just want to say how grateful I am for the Senior Center. It does so many great things for our community. The city supports the Senior Center, but it's never enough. The Senior Center, among other food pantries and community organizations, didn't get some of the grants that they were looking for this year. And so this is part of the reason that they're doing this fundraiser, and I think this is a great idea for a fundraiser to get us out in the open. This is one of my favorite parks in all of Boulder City, maybe my favorite. It's got the 360 or 270 degree view. I love coming down here at sunset time and just watching the sunset out this way, and it's beautiful in the mornings as well. But the Senior Center provides companionship for these seniors, provides meals. I've done the Meals on Wheels program before, and it's what struck me about that was when you get out there and you see the couple of dozen that they do reach, you see also the many other seniors that are out there as you go into these neighborhoods that don't get reached. And so it really requires your support, all of our support, to maintain these great programs and to continue to get out there further. And in addition to those types of things, there's education, there's the emotional support and the social support, and the spiritual support and other things that this great organization provides. So I really encourage you to support this organization, support this event, and I welcome you today. And let's rock and roll. Let the games begin. Thank you.
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming out as well. My name is Marcella, and I'm your DJ tonight. We have great entertainment. We also have some wonderful vendors here. We have Mike from Bring Home Chefs, and we also have the Dragon Ass Coffee. Great coffee. So go ahead and enjoy and have a lot of fun today. Next up, we're going to have the Browns up first before I get started with any music. Let's give it up for them.
How's everybody doing this morning? That was horrible. How's everybody doing this morning? Alright. It's too nice a day to not get into it a little bit here. So here's what we're going to do today. We're the Brown family. We've been singing for a long time. I'm going to give a little quick introduction on everybody. There's a lot of us. So who started this all out is Chuck Brown here. Chuck Brown started singing when he was little with my grandmother and has kind of just passed it all the way down. We all started playing guitars when we were younger, and we've done different competitions and played at all sorts of different locations throughout Boulder City, Jamboree, etc., all that. We have a lot of fun doing it. So he started everything out. I'm Matt Brown, his son. This is Vina Foster, his daughter. Christy Perkins over here, his other daughter. Kimberly Santa Rosa, his other daughter. And then we got a whole bunch of grandkids here. So on the electric guitars, we got Brian Foster and Jimmy Brown. We got Jason Pate, Danny Pate, who's sitting next to you? Lindsey Brown, Lydia Pate, Caitlin Brown, Leilani Foster, Trevor Perkins, and Aiden Brown. Everybody sings, everybody has a lot of fun. Kids have done a lot of stuff. Caitlin was the runner-up at BC's Got Talent, so we got a lot of singers in the family. We're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna do 3 songs for you. First one, for any of you who know who Kingston Trio was, hopefully a lot of people know who they are. This is one of their big hits. It's called Shady Grove. So we're going to have Jimmy Brown start us out here.
my shady grove, standing by the door, shoes and stockings in her hands, little bare feet on the floor. Shady grove, my love, shady grove, my door, shady grove, my love, down shady grove. Lips as red as blooming rose, eyes are deep as brown. You're the darling of my heart, stay till the sun goes down. Shady grove, my love, shady grove, my love, shady grove, my love, down shady grove. Wish I had a big fat horse, born to feed him all. Pretty little girl, stay at home, feed him when I'm gone. Shady grove, my love, shady grove, my love, shady grove, my love, down shady grove.
Thank you. So our next song here, we're going to play an original, actually. This was written by Chuck Brown. He's actually written quite a few songs. It's called Kids Are the Beauty. He wrote this about his children, so here we go. Grow up someday, look back on their lives, be able to say our parents were special, that God gave us to. Dear Lord up above, we surely thank you. Kids are the beauty this world is made of. There's nothing to give but all that love. Kids of today are leaders of tomorrow. All kids want is to have no more sorrow. Kids of today are leaders of tomorrow. All kids want is to have no more sorrow. All right, we're going to do one more here. For any of you who know John Denver, had a lot of great songs. We're going to go ahead and sing one of his that was a fun one to sing. The kids have a lot of fun with it. It's called Grandma's Feather Bed. Feel free to clap along. Let's not be mouth breathers. Let's go ahead and start clapping. All right. When I was
just don't think about Grandma's house was a great day. It was 9 feet high, 6 feet wide, soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 411 geese, from a 4-4-4. It was old day kids, 4 hound dogs, Biggie Boots, so really stand. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's bed.
After supper we'd sit around the fire, the old folks bit and chew. All would talk about the farm and the lawn, Grand sing about it too. I'd sit and listen and watch the fire till cobwebs filled my head. Next thing I'd know, I'd wake up in the morning in the middle of the old feather bed.
It was 9 feet high, 6 feet wide, soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 411 geese. It was old day kids, 4 round dogs, Biggie Boots, stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. Well, I love my mom, love my pa, love Granny and Grandpa too. I've been fishing with my uncle, wrestle with my cousin, even kiss that too. If I ever had to make a choice, I reckon it ought to be said I'd trade them all, cause together run Grandma's feather bed. I'd trade them all, cause together run.
I'm not so sure about the gal down the road.
It was 9 feet high, 6 feet wide, soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 411 geese. It was old day kids, 4 hound dogs, Biggie Boots, stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed.
Thank you very much. Everybody have a good day.
Please, will you come forward? Quit talking to Kathy.
This is our street.
Brad dressed in the appropriate color today. I don't know if he knew the color scheme. Yeah. Susan and I and all of the Senior Center, Brad is representing Copper Mountain Solar, one of our solar companies here in Boulder City. They donated $2,500 to our fundraising event today. And so on behalf of the Senior Center, we want to present him and his company with this gift basket.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'd also like to tell you that Brad was one of our communities, that he took the opportunity this week to go out with one of our drivers to help deliver Meals on Wheels. This is what this fundraiser is all about, is to raise money for Meals on Wheels. And he took this very seriously, personally, and got involved, and we thank him and his company for their generous donation. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Brad.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Kia B. Sunny side of the mountain. Get this one. Now don't forget me, little darling, while I'm growing old and gray. Just a little thought before I'm going far away. 'Cause I'll be waiting on the hillside for the day that you will call. On the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. Now darling, tell me in your letter, do you ever think of me? Or tell me, little darling, tell me where you can be. 'Cause I'll be waiting on the hillside for the day that you will call. On the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. Now don't forget about the days we courted many years you finally show up. Get on TV.
You run camera.
Let's do it. Gee, guys, a heartache. You guys about ready? Heartache's number one. I never knew that I could hurt this way. And the heartache number two was when things turned back again. You came by the devil and the stone. Now I've got heartaches by the number. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number. Of love I can't lose. And the day that I stop counting, that's to make my world a land. Okay, here we go. Heartache number three was when you called me and said that you were back to school. I waited, but you lost your way. Now I've got heartaches by the number, troubles by the score. Every day you go, each day I love you. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number. But the day that I stop, that's the day my world will end. Yay!
Spider! Spider!
Little Johnny Rodriguez song.
Well, I got to do dialysis.
Song called Pass Me By.
Oh, yeah.
Let my bass player get geared up here.
Well, I tell you what, this is a cheese. We had our big test here at the park. The senior center, so I will be out there 5 or 5:30.
Would you look at what came down the road today? Want me to be one more mistake you've made? A bridge to burn to get to someone new. Hey, pass me by if you're only passing through. You sure look like the traveling kind to me. Don't stop if this ain't where you want to be. Now I don't know what you think you'll run into. Hey, pass me by if you're only passing through. Keel on the lead. Tim Gordon on the bass. I'm not gonna be your stepping stone among the other hearts that you've walked on. Lord, help me if I fall in love with you. Hey, pass me by if you're only passing through. You sure look like the traveling kind to me. Don't stop if this ain't where you want to be. Now I don't know what you think you'll run into. Hey, pass me by if you're only passing through. Bring it on down. Hey, pass me by if you're only passing through.
Don't forget to stop by the red carpet banner, everybody. Get your picture taken, and we'll give it to you later on this week.
Thank you very much.
Oh, wait a minute. You going that way? Nobody else playing? Okay. Here we go. Marty Robbins' old number, El Paso. Had a big request for this. Only reason I'm going to try it. So y'all hang in there. Out in West Texas town of El Paso. See, I told you I couldn't. Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl. Night time would find me in Rose's Cantina. Music would play and Paulina would whir. Blacker the night were the eyes of Paulina. Wicked and evil, all casting a spell. My love was deep for the Mexican maiden. I was in love, but in vain I could tell. One night a wild young cowboy came in, wild of the West Texas way. Dashing and daring, the drink he was sharing. Wicked Paulina, the girl that I love. So in anger I challenged burning pain in my side. I am trying to stay the same. I'm getting weary, unable to rise. But my love for Paulina is strong and right on. I am weary, I can't stop the rain. I see the blood white of smoke from the rifle. I feel the bullet go deep in my chest. From out of nowhere, Paulina has found me. Twisting my cheek, she kneels by my side. Cradled by true love and arms that I'll die for. One little kiss and Paulina, goodbye.
Wonderful job, guys. I want to also thank Desert Sun Realty, Brett Runyon and Roger Tobler for coming and helping us out with this event. We're going to do another raffle. You guys ready? You guys want to do one more song?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll do 10 more if you want to.
Then you'll miss your next event.
Wild side of life. Deeper down. Put you in. You wouldn't read my letter if I wrote. You asked me not to on the phone. But there's something I want to do. So I wrote it in of this song. I didn't know God made me talk. He told me. I might have known that you made a while. You gave up the only one that ever and went back to that side. Oh, the glamour of gay night life and to the places where booze and liquor flow, where you wait to be in body's and forget the twist and I didn't know God made wrong. He taught me. I might have known that you made the wild. You gave up the only one that ever and went back to that and went back to that
Great job, guys. All right, I also want to thank Capriani's Debbie Dudman and Right at Home in Care and assistants Kelly and Will Behrens for their contribution for making this event go on. One more raffle time here.
I'm slacking.
She's slacking.
You got that down by heart?
Okay, this one feels good, and it's going to Kicker.
Mike Kicker.
Mike Kicker. You won.
It's that
Boulder Dam. $20. Woohoo! Somebody won. It's here. Yay.
Got an old Hank Williams song here. Your Cheating Heart.
feel blue. Your cheating heart will tell on you. When tears come down like falling rain, you'll toss around and call my name. You'll walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you.
I want to thank all of you out there who have prayed for such a beautiful day, because oh my goodness, is it a beautiful day. Now, if it drops or it breaks, you're out. That's how it works. Okay. Nice straight line. We got everybody? Okay, here we go. On your mark. Get set. Toss. And then move back. One step. And toss. Last couple is our winner. Did it break? If it breaks, you're out. Just take the... You get to keep the Play-Doh. You get to keep it. Keep going. Once it breaks, you're out. If it's not broken, keep throwing. Last couple is our winner. Oh, we got a winner yet? If it breaks, you're out. Did it break? Then you give it to her. And you're out. And who's our winner? Oh. Do we still have... We still got two people. We still got two... Oh, we got one. You guys got to step back. Oh, you guys are our winner. Good job. Woo! Come up here and get your prizes.
Cowboy Chuck.
All right.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Cowboy Chuck from Boulder City, right downtown. And I can't help it. Today I passed you on the street, and my heart fell at your feet. I can't help it, I'm still in love with you. Somebody else stood by your side, and it looks so satisfied. I can't help it, I'm still in love with you. A picture from the past comes slowly stealing. As I brushed your arm, I walked so close to you. Suddenly I got that old time feeling. I can't help it, I'm still in love with you. It's hard to know another's lips will kiss you and hold you the way I used to do. Heaven only knows how much I miss you. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. Today I passed you on the street, and my heart fell at your feet. I can't help it, I'm still in love with you. Somebody else stood by your side, and you look so satisfied. I can't help it, but I'm still in love with you. Somebody help me. It's hard to know another's lips will kiss you and hold you the way I used to do. Heaven only knows how much I miss you. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. No, I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. Thank you much. Cowboy Chuck from Boulder City. Anybody know Candy Kisses?
Yeah, where did that come from?
Right here.
Yeah, we knew that was everyone, didn't we?
They knew.
Yeah. What gear you gonna be in? We'll be in C. C? Charlie.
Candy kisses wrapped in paper means more to you than any of mine. Candy kisses wrapped in paper, you'd rather have them any old time. You don't mean it when you whisper those sweet love words in my ear. Candy kisses wrapped in paper mean more to you than mine do, dear. I built a castle out of dreams, dear. I thought that you were building one too. Now my castle all have fallen, and I'm left alone and blue. Once my heart was filled with gladness, now there's sadness and only tears. Candy kisses wrapped in paper mean more to you than any of mine. Thank you very much.
Okay, here we go. C for Charlie. 7 Spanish angels. He looked down into her brown eyes and say a prayer for me. She threw her arms around him, whispered God will keep us free. They could hear the riders coming. He said, this is my last fight. If you take me back to Texas, it won't take me back alive. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped in the smoke clear, there was thunder from the throne, and the 7
kept me. And maybe without my man. She knew the gun was empty, and she knew she couldn't win.
What a final
Prayer was answered, and the rifles fired again. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun.
They were praying
for the lovers in the valley of the gun.
when the battle
Stopped in the smoke clear, there was thunder from the throne.
and the 7
Spanish angels took another angel home.
Wonderful job, guys. I want to thank you very much for coming out. You guys have been awesome. I also want to thank the Boulder City Community Club and Charles Chanowich Mays Brothers for coming out and helping out. Okay, you guys ready for another one?
Thanks, guys.
I'm plenty here.
Round and round in circles, guys. Come on. Round and round. Round and round. Round and round. Come on now. Round and round. I'm getting dizzy. Oh, you guys did an awesome job.
Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots. Ruined your black tie affair. Thank you very much. Last one to know. The last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there. I saw the surprise and the fear in his eyes when I took his glass of champagne. I toasted you, said, honey, we may be through, but you'll never hear me complain. 'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. Now I'm not big on social grace. graces. Think I slip on down to the oasis. So I've got friends, low places. All right. Come on, feel free to dance out there, you guys. What a beautiful day. Well, I guess I was wrong. I just don't belong to them. I've been there before. Everything's all right. I'll just say goodnight and I'll show myself to the door. I didn't mean to cause a big scene. Just give me an hour and then I'll be as high as that ivory tower that you're living in. So I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. Now I'm not big on social graces. Think I slip on down to the oasis. So I've got friends, low places. 'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the oasis. Oh, I've got friends, low places. 'Cause I've got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. Now I'm not big on social grace. Think I slip on down to the oasis. Oh, I've got friends.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much for coming out here and singing for us.
1, 2, 3 o'clock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around 10 o'clock tonight. Put your glad rags on.
Come on now. Let's see you guys moving. Now that I got your attention, don't you sit down. Oh.
You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your right foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your left foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Right arm. You put your right arm in, you put your right arm out, you put your right arm in and then you shake it all about. Left arm. You put your left arm in, you put your left arm out, you put your left arm in and then you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn it all around. That's what it's all about. Right elbow. You put your right elbow in, you put your right elbow out, you put your right elbow in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Left elbow. You put your left elbow in, you put your left elbow out, you put your left elbow in and then you shake it all about. You put your head in, you put your head out, you put your head
And I want to hear you guys sing it.
You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your right hip in, you put your right hip out. You put your right hip in and then you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your left hip in, you put your left hip out. You put your left hip in and you shake it all about. You put your whole self in, you put your whole self out. You put your whole self in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your backside in, you put your backside out. You put your backside in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You do the hokey pokey, the hokey pokey. You do the hokey pokey. That's what it's all about.
Great job.
So excited that 2015 marks the beginning of our celebration of our 125th anniversary since our founding. We have so many great things planned, ways to reflect on our past, to consider the amazing women who started this organization, but most importantly, the women who have built it to what it is today. 125 years of service to God, home, and country. In October of 1890, there were 4 women who came together to organize a society. 2 were from the North, 2 were from the South. They wanted to unite this organization to honor the patriotism and the magnificent men and women who served to make America free. The objectives that they decided at the very first meeting were historic preservation, education, and patriotism. That's exactly what our objectives still are today. We are still actively preserving and marking historic buildings and sites. We are still promoting education through impacting thousands of children and students throughout this country. We are actively promoting good citizenship and support of our military and our veterans through our commitment of our hundreds of thousands of hours of service and of dollars as well. We have planned so many different activities for this current year, and we really want, most of all, for every member to feel a part of the celebration. Among the special activities, we'll have an expanded social media. We're going to have our own Facebook page where the chapters can tell us the stories of what they are doing in their communities and how they are celebrating our anniversary. We will also have special events at Continental Congress, so a look back in our history, but a look forward as well. What we are asking each chapter to do is to consider taking on a special service project to celebrate this 125th anniversary, finding something special and doing that in your community to make everyone aware of how vital and relevant DAR is and how we are still serving America. We will also be presenting several videos throughout the year that will help tell our story. We have some remarkable items in our NSDAR archive, such as the original charter of the National Society, and we are eager to share those with our members. The more we learn about our history, the more inspired and energized I think we will all be. We will have a number of commemorative items available to celebrate this anniversary as well. Everything from a key ring to a beautiful limited edition commemorative plate, a presentation bowl, or a silver spoon. We will have a special certificate available for everyone who becomes a member in 2015. This is the time to encourage your relatives and your friends to become a member. This is the time to join the DAR. Please stay up to date on the blog and in the website and in the magazine so that you too will know of some of the exciting opportunities that we have. 125 years later, our members are still as passionate about historic preservation, education, and patriotism as they were in 1890. I hope you will take part in this celebration, will learn more about our history, become engaged in the work of your chapter, your state society, the National Society, and that your membership in DAR will be as important to you as my membership is to me.
As the United States marked 100 years in existence, a new sentiment arose among Americans to connect with its founding history. In the spring of 1876, Philadelphia hosted the Centennial Exposition, which helped give rise to an era of colonial revival. Patriotic organizations began to form, including the Sons of the American Revolution in 1889. The following year, the Sons voted to exclude women from the group, galvanizing a force for the creation of a new women's organization. Mary Smith Lockwood wrote in a letter printed in the Washington Post detailing the legend of Hannah Arnett, who in 1776 courageously prevented a meeting of men from proclaiming loyalty with the British. Lockwood wrote, "Were there no mothers of the Revolution? Where will the sons and daughters of the Revolution place Hannah Arnett?" Mary Smith Lockwood's letter would be a catalyst for action. William O. McDowell, founding member of the Sons of the American Revolution and great-grandson of Hannah Arnett, was immediately moved. He penned a response calling on women to form their own organization. Gatherings were held at various private residences throughout the summer of 1890 between the lead organizers, Mary Smith Lockwood, Eugenia Washington, Mary DeShay, and Ellen Hardin Walworth. The culmination of these meetings occurred on October 11th, with the first organizational meeting with 18 women in attendance, as well as 4 supportive members of the Sons of the American Revolution, who would act as an advisory board. Also in attendance was Mary Ellett Cabell, who would serve as vice president presiding and whose home would be the first headquarters for the daughters. She would seek out a lady prominent in the United States to serve as the first President General. Caroline Scott Harrison, the First Lady of the United States, would fill that position until her death in 1892. In that first year, membership applications flooded in, and fundraising efforts commenced on the first project, to erect a monument in Fredericksburg, Virginia, to mark the birthplace of Mary Washington, mother to George Washington. On February 22, 1892, the First Continental Congress was held at the Church of Our Father in Northwest Washington, D.C. As Ellen Hardin Walworth would write in 1893, "It is not a social organization. It is an order patriotic, historical, and genealogical, and hold itself closely to these objects." This new society would harness a desire for service that would help usher in the progressive era in the United States and create a legacy for future generations of women.
Serving as your President General is the privilege of a lifetime. But having the opportunity to serve our national society during this, our 125th year, has been an extraordinary experience. As I travel from coast to coast and truly around the world, I am awed by your devotion to our ideals. You have demonstrated in thousands of ways the enduring relevancy of our mission. In projects large and small, you are fulfilling a pledge made by a small group of women in 1890 that future generations would remember, would appreciate, and would celebrate the sacrifice and values that make America the greatest nation on earth. And for that, I thank you and I salute you. I also thank Presley M. Waggoner, Honorary President General, who served as the chair of our Celebrate 125 committee during this, our anniversary year. It is a joy for me to ask her to help us honor those who created and shaped the society we celebrate this evening. Mrs. Waggoner.
Madam President General, We gather this evening in a magnificent hall in the heart of our nation's capital with a debt of gratitude to repay. A debt not only to our patriot ancestors and to the brave men and women who have worn the uniform of our nation's armed forces, but also a debt to the visionary citizens who 125 years ago laid the very foundation for this evening, who together shared an ambitious and audacious undertaking to establish a nationwide organization to celebrate and perpetuate the American spirit, our beloved and enduring National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution. Tonight, we must pause to honor the patriotism, focus, and resiliency of those early leaders who so skillfully charted a course for the generations that would follow. The now familiar facts of our founding have been repeated many times, but tonight, by sharing fragments of their hopes, their motivations, their frustrations, in their own words from those first formative years, we hope that the dreams of those visionary leaders might echo down through the decades to propel us forward further still, inspired anew in service to God, home, and country. We are fortunate that our founding members' dedication to preservation has left us with many treasures in our NSDAR archives, including much of the early correspondence, documentation, and meeting notes of our fledgling society 125 years ago. Mere months after the newly founded Sons of the American Revolution voted to exclude women from their society, a passionate supporter and advocate for female descendants of the Revolution began confidential correspondence with some of his like-minded brothers in the SAR. In a letter dated October 25, 1889, William McDowell writes,
"We shall invite the organization in the different states of the Union of the Daughters of the Revolution, independent entirely of the Sons. I'm in a hurry to get at this work that I may show the Sons what the Daughters can do. On my suggestion, the vote on the subject yesterday was not recorded in our minutes, for the reason that I wanted to save the gentlemen who voted no from being so thoroughly ashamed of themselves when they see what an opportunity they had and let slip by."
After Mary Smith Lockwood wrote her rallying cry in the Washington Post and interested women began planning the new organization, the official organizing meeting was called for October 11, 1890, and included Mary DeShay, who, as Secretary Pro Tem, recorded in those meeting minutes this resolution.
Resolved that at this, our organizing meeting, we initiate the important part of our work, the securing and preserving of the historical spots of America, and the erection thereon of suitable monuments to perpetuate the memories of the heroic deeds of the men and women who aided the Revolution and created constitutional government in America, by undertaking to do what we can towards completing the monument and the memory of Mary Washington, mother of George Washington. And we hereby call upon every patriot to send us a contribution, large and small, to our treasurer for this purpose.
Just one day after that historic meeting of the newly formed Daughters of the American Revolution, Miss DeShay sent a letter to Virginia Cabell informing her of an important assignment.
My dear Mrs. Cabell, Mr. McDowell has appointed you, Mrs. Lockwood, Mrs. Darling, Mrs. Walworth, and me as committee to call on Mrs. Harrison to ask her acceptance of the office of President General. The time selected is 4:30 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, Monday, October 13th. The ladies will meet you at the White House.
5 days after that meeting at the Executive Mansion, the Secretary to the First Lady of the United States sent a letter on behalf of Mrs. Harrison to say she would accept the position. In the days and months following, meetings and correspondence gave shape to the new society. As we all know, many ideas are often put forth but not always realized. Ellen Hardin Walworth wrote to Mrs. Cabell a suggestion to consider for the Society's motto.
My dear Mrs. Cabell, it has occurred to me that I did not suggest for consideration, as I had intended, this simple motto for our seal, Amor Patriae, love of country. It seems to me that this might settle at once an objection already urged against us, in a tendency to create an aristocracy, or at least a class sentiment, as it would point to the real inspiration of the association.
From the minutes of the third and final organizing meeting on December 11, it is noted that the Executive Committee recommended that the motto, Amor Patriae, be changed to home and country. Also from this December meeting, the Vice President General presiding read aloud a telegram that had been sent from the Sons of the American Revolution.
Resolved that the General Board of Managers of the Society of the Sons of the American Revolution extend its hearty sympathy to the daughters of the American Revolution in their organization, and it assures them of cordial cooperation in their patriotic work.
As the daughters were finalizing their vision for the Society these first few months, William McDowell continued to show his support. In a letter to Mrs. Cabell on November 19, 1890, he writes in part,
My dear Mrs. Cabell, I received a newspaper clipping giving an account of your meeting and believe that your society has a brilliant future before it.
From the intensive meetings and correspondence of those early months, a constitution of the National Society was established. Our enduring objectives of historic preservation, education, and patriotism were detailed in that original DAR Constitution and continue to guide our work today.
Article 2, Objects of the Society. The objects of this society are 1. To perpetuate the memory and the spirit of the men and women who achieved American independence by the acquisition and protection of historical spots and the erection of monuments, by the encouragement of historical research in relation to the Revolution, documents and relics, and of the records of the individual services of the revolutionary soldiers and patriots, and by the promotion of celebrations of all patriotic anniversaries. 2. To carry out the injunction of Washington in his farewell address to the American people, to promote, as an object of primary importance, institutions for the general diffusion of knowledge, thus developing an enlightened public opinion, and affording to the young and old such advantages as shall develop in them the largest capacity for performing the duties of American citizens. 3. To cherish, maintain, and extend the institutions of American freedom, to foster true patriotism and love of country, and to aid in securing for mankind all the blessings of liberty.
Reflecting on how the Society continued to grow in that first year, prolific writer and early historian general Mary Smith Lockwood described how word spread about the purpose of the Society.
Newspapers took up the cry and sent intelligence over the land. Application papers began to pour in. The American women were awakened by this revelation, and now, what is it for, was answered with, it is not for an aristocracy, but to honor the men who carried the muskets and the boys who beat the drums and fifed Yankee Doodle for liberty, for the honor of the women who served the country in their homes while the men were away fighting the battles for freedom, and that their names should be rescued from the musty annals of the Revolution and for the first time inscribed on the pages of history as factors in making the nation.
At the First Continental Congress in February of 1892, Registrar General Eugenia Washington stressed the importance of preserving the stories and records of our Revolutionary Patriot ancestors and the importance of verifying documentation to ensure its integrity.
The records of the services of these 1,306 patriots thus preserved form volumes of most interesting as well as valuable history. Yet this history will lose much of its value if the statements contained therein are not to be relied upon. Therefore, we recommend to the regents and delegates present to give an exact and full statement of the ancestors' service and authority for the statement. For these records, we should remember, are collected not only for present use, but shall stand through future generations as monuments to our noble sires.
Our founders knew the importance of preserving those records in an appropriately prominent home for the society. Virginia Cabell addressed the membership at the First Continental Congress and prophetically described the magnificent DAR headquarters complex where we gather annually for our conference and which serves our membership and the entire Washington, D.C. community throughout the year as a brick and mortar testament to their visionary foresight.
The building of a house beautiful, to be the property of these American women calling themselves by inherited right daughters of the American Revolution. This house will be built in or near the beautiful capital city named for Washington, the immortal. It should be the finest building ever owned by women, the fairest marbles from Vermont and Tennessee, the most enduring granite from Massachusetts and the Virginias. Purely American this structure should be. A great hall for lectures, addresses, and general conventions of the society is greatly needed. It could be utilized on many occasions to produce a certain income for its support. Offices and committee rooms are required for the business of the society, now more than 1,000 in number, and soon to number many thousands. Safes are essential for the preservation of documents and relics. There should be a library unsurpassed in all branches pertaining to the records of the society and containing the largest, most complete collections of works upon American history.
While our beloved First President General did not live to see how our society flourished beyond those early years, she set a tone at her address to the First Continental Congress, a challenge that emboldened our early members and continues to inspire us today.
Our hope is in unity and self-sacrifice. Since this society was organized, and so much thought and reading directed to the early struggle of this country, it has been made plain that much of its success was due to the character of the women of that earlier era. The unselfish part they acted constantly commends itself to our admiration and example. If there is no abatement in this element of success in our ranks, I feel sure their daughters can perpetuate a society worthy of the cause and worthy of themselves.
we now feel that this society is firmly established and in good condition for future success. It remains with us all to see that it lives and grows to greater and better ends.
Madam President General, it is a privilege for me, as the National Chairman of the Celebrate 125 Committee, to express on behalf of all daughters, past and present, our heartfelt commitment to carry forward Mrs. Harrison's charge that our society lives and grows to greater and better ends. After 125 years of accomplishment, we rise with joy to face a future bright with promise, one built upon the soundest of foundations and the most enduring of missions. I congratulate you and the National Society on 125 years of service to America. And inspired anew by the words of our founders, I also suspect that the best is yet to come. Happy birthday, NSDAR.
Thank you, Presley. It is so inspiring to know that at that organizing meeting 125 years ago, with just 18 members in attendance, that the business they carried out that day is still guiding our organization today. We are so fortunate to have been founded by such strong and visionary women. In the years that followed that formative period, daughters everywhere fulfilled the joyful obligations of citizenship and membership in tens of thousands of ways, and literally millions of lives were changed for the better as a result. New citizens, deserving students, men and women in uniform, veterans in need, all have been served by the DAR. Tens of thousands of Patriot records and grave sites preserved and protected thanks to DAR. Thousands of local sites of historic significance would likely have disappeared long ago were it not for the DAR. No single evening could do justice to the breadth and scope of DAR's impact on America during the last 125 years. So I encourage you to learn more about our amazing history, to visit our website, subscribe to our award-winning American Spirit magazine, read our publications such as The American Treasure, The Enduring Spirit of DAR. I assure you that you too will be awed by the combined accomplishment of our organization. I learn new chapters of our history every day.
At its onset, the founding members of the Daughters of the American Revolution invoked the thoughts of our country's founders, that education, above all else, is the decisive element of a democracy. The DAR built this idea to the three pillars of the organization and have dedicated a majority of their efforts over the past century to education programs throughout the nation. In the early 20th century, the newly formed DAR contributed financial support at the chapter level to numerous schools across the country. In 1914, the South Carolina Daughters voted to establish a school for mountain girls in the remote northwestern part of the state. Securing support from the National Society, as well as land and financial donations, the chapter opened the Tomasi DAR School in February of 1919, and today continues its educational mission. Other areas of the country also saw the creation of schools during the early 20th century, including the Kate Duncan Smith DAR School in Alabama, the Crossnor School in North Carolina, the Hillside School in Massachusetts, the Hindman Settlement School in Kentucky, and Berry College in Georgia. Today, the 6 DAR schools are funded by over $1 million annually from the DAR. Through DAR's American Indians Committee, funds are also allocated to Bacone College in Oklahoma and Chemawa Indian Preparatory Academy in Oregon to help the educational needs of Native American students. American history has always been a focus of DAR education efforts. The first DAR American History Essay Contest was held in 1898. Today, through a nationally coordinated program that encourages youngsters to learn about history in a new light, more than 4,000 schools participate in this annual contest for students in grades 5 through 8, with nearly 66,000 essays submitted yearly. The DAR Scholarship Committee awards approximately $200,000 yearly in a wide range of disciplines. Applications for DAR scholarships average more than 1,600 each year. Educating the next generation to be good citizens is also a top priority for the DAR through various programs. In 1921, after years of chapter-level citizen education programs for immigrants, the National Society published the DAR Manual for Citizenship to help educate newly arrived immigrants preparing for the naturalization process. Over the next few decades, the DAR would produce over 1 million copies of the manual. Junior American Citizens Committee is one of the Society's oldest youth-oriented committees. It reaches out to tens of thousands of students from kindergarten through grade 12 to promote patriotism in every child. To help promote the program across the country, many chapters recognize achievements through awards, as well as holding contests in creative expression and community service. With more than half of the national committees focusing on elements of education, the DAR is prioritizing this founding principle within the organization. Over the last 125 years, through its many programs for youth and adults, the DAR has given the opportunity to learn to millions of lives. With a force of nearly 1 million members since its founding, the Daughters of the American Revolution have performed a vital range of service in support of the military over the past 125 years. Founded to preserve the memory and spirit of the revolutionary patriots who fought for America's independence, the DAR extends that mission by honoring the sacrifices of all those who have continued fighting for our freedom throughout our nation's history. Patriotism, one of the founding tenets of the organization, lives within each and every daughter. While the DAR was still in its infancy, the United States found itself in conflict with Spain in 1898. Dr. Anita Newcomb McGee, then a DAR Vice President General, volunteered the organization to help screen the nurses needed by the government. The DAR Hospital Corps would be established and screened thousands of nursing applications within the next few months, sending more than 1,500 nurses to help in the conflict. During the First World War, numerous chapters volunteered their efforts to help. Members of the Cincinnati DAR knitted garments for the troops. Other chapters rolled bandages, collected clothing, and donated food for the USO. The Mercy Warren chapter of Springfield, Massachusetts, hosted first aid classes and fundraisers. After the attacks on Pearl Harbor, the DAR headquarters became a center for wartime activity. Offices throughout the DAR buildings were loaned to the American Red Cross. A day nursery was opened in the basement of Constitution Hall for the children of enlisted men whose wives were working. The DAR members also purchased over $2 million in war bonds and stamps during the course of the fighting. Through conflicts in Korea, Vietnam, and the Middle East, DAR members passionately lent their support in various ways through monetary donations and volunteer efforts. Following the attack on September 11th, the DAR worked with the Department of the Navy to sponsor the crew of the aircraft carrier USS John C. Stennis. When the ship returned to port, DAR members' support shifted to the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany, which cares for wounded military personnel. DAR members also regularly send care packages to troops overseas. Care for our nation's veterans has also always been a top priority for the DAR, and members perform more than 300,000 volunteer hours annually to support veterans programs. The DAR is one of the largest groups to serve on the Department of Veterans Affairs Voluntary Service National Advisory Committee. and DAR member volunteers are a regular fixture at VA hospitals across the country. The Daughter Support to Veterans also provides the perfect setting for capturing and recording their stories as part of the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. DAR members have also served in all branches of service themselves, including more than 600 members who served in a variety of capacities during World War II, and many more who have come after them. Whether at home or abroad, the members of the Daughters of the American Revolution serve the country that they love with the same dedication as their revolutionary patriots. Through their continuing efforts to support active duty service members and honor veterans, DAR members are committed to celebrating those who defend our nation's freedom. Honoring and preserving the memory of those who served in the American Revolution not only includes the signers of the Declaration of Independence or high-ranking military officers, but also the everyday soldier or colonist who contributed to our fight for independence. As many as 250,000 men served in the Army or militia, and countless others heroically helped with the efforts. In the first report to Congress, the newly formed Daughters of the American Revolution described that their genealogical research showed the experiences of the many unnoticed heroes and forgotten heroines who composed the rank and file of the nation in 1776. Patriots like Peter Rogers, who enlisted as a fife major in the 4th Regiment, Connecticut Line, and served in Washington's Army in Pennsylvania, and William Hughes, who was a volunteer private in the 2nd New Hampshire Regiment. Other patriots contributed to the cause off the battlefield, such as Michael Gratz of Philadelphia, who signed a pledge to cease trading with the British and supplied gunpowder and firearms to George Washington's troops. Women also contributed to the fight for independence, but their efforts were often less heralded. In the early 1920s, the Daughters of the New York State Organization helped to honor a once-forgotten patriot with a burial place of honor. Margaret Cochran Corbin manned an artillery cannon after her husband was killed during a battle. She was wounded and years later was buried near West Point. Through research, the DAR linked Margaret Corbin to her heroic actions. Her body was exhumed and buried in a place of honor in the West Point Cemetery. Other women patriots also had military combat experience in the Revolution, such as Deborah Sampson, who disguised herself as a man and served in the Continental Army for 17 months before being wounded and honorably discharged. Elizabeth Zane showed great courage during the siege of Fort Henry when she volunteered to leave the fort during a pause in gun battle to fetch a keg of gunpowder and narrowly returned safely with the precious ammunition. While never directly in the line of fire, Mercy Otis Warren's strong convictions and political writings during the Revolution helped to galvanize the cause. African American and American Indian patriots also participated in the American Revolution. James Armistead, a slave, served as a spy for the Americans, while acting as a servant for British General Cornwallis. And Toby Gilmore, an African-born slave, won his own freedom by serving as a private in the Continental Army and contributing to a number of significant battles. Peter Harris, of the Catawba Nation in South Carolina, fought in the Revolution and was eventually recognized for his service. In October 2002, DAR opened the exhibit Forgotten Patriots, African American and American Indian Patriots in the Revolutionary War. It was the culmination of more than 20 years of research and based on a publication produced by DAR. To date, thousands of African American and American Indian patriots have been identified, and DAR researchers continue to work to uncover these individuals and their unique stories. Many foreign patriots also fought shoulder to shoulder with American patriots during the Revolution, including thousands of troops from France. Nationals of Sweden, Poland, Germany, Portugal, and the Netherlands also aided the American cause. Additionally, Spanish citizens provided enormous financial and military support to the American Revolution. Don Diego de Guerdeque was the financial intermediary between the Spanish court and the colonies during the American Revolution, helping to supply munitions and other military goods to the colonists. And the great Spanish military leader Bernardo de Galvez led Spanish forces defeating the British at the Siege of Pensacola. In the 1990s, the DAR formed a task force to identify Spanish nationals who contributed to the revolutionary cause. Since that time, members of the task force continue to develop a bibliography of historic events and sources that can prove Revolutionary War service of Spanish nationals. DAR's work and genealogical research has helped increase the knowledge of the patriots who helped make this country. With each new application and each new bit of information, we can have a better understanding of the sacrifices that were made in the 18th century. And with that, we can honor those heroes, one and all.
The 125th anniversary of the founding of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution is an exciting time to be a DAR member. We have looked back into our archives and we found some wonderful videos of our past Presidents General as they have shared their memories from decades ago. And now we are digitizing those for future generations, and we have invited our current Honorary Presidents General to share their memories of their administrations and their accomplishments with us today.
I was very in awe of the organization because my mother-in-law, Lorna Owen Kemper, was chaplain general in Mrs. Spicer's administration. I too became responsible, feeling that I believe in education, historic preservation, and patriotism down deep in my heart. So I wanted to be a part of that.
I wanted to join, first of all, to carry on for my mother. My mother died. I joined the next year. And because so many of the family members, grandma and my cousin, and they're all, the mother, all members of DAR. So I just said, time to carry on.
I joined DAR as a junior member. I joined my mother's chapter and have been a member for many, many years. I think the reason I really joined the organization was because of a love of the objectives that it promoted. Historic preservation and education, and I was also very interested in genealogy.
I joined DAR in 1968, along with my mother and several family members. We were asked to form a new chapter, and that was named for my ancestor, Peter Houston. And after attending my first state conference in Nashville, I met so many outstanding Tennessee Daughters that I just knew I wanted to be a part of this organization.
Well, my mother was truly the driving force behind my joining the DAR. I was raised in a family where my parents instilled a very strong sense of family history and love of country. And so the first time I went to the Continental Congress 40 years ago, I knew once I had been here that this was the organization I wanted to identify with, and I wanted to become just very much involved in every aspect of DAR.
One thing that I've always enjoyed about DAR is the interactions between generations. And when I joined, I was one of the younger members, and now I'm one of the older ones, but I'm still enjoying it very much.
When I first joined DAR, I had no intention. And a lady called me. I didn't know who she was. And my second cousin had met her at a state conference and said I had recently moved to the area. And those ladies made me feel so welcome. And I don't think I would ever have become active had they not called me the week before the meeting to make sure I had a babysitter, offered to watch my son so I could go to the meetings. Several times when I didn't have a sitter, they said, bring him with you.
When I was growing up, I was always aware that I had family members who had been members of the DAR and been encouraged to join at some point. And really, after the bicentennial of our country, when all the fervor of patriotism, I decided it was a good time for me to join, so I began the application process.
Well, I enjoyed the work, and I loved to be with the members and also all the work they did with the students and scholarships and the schools, the DAR schools. I enjoyed that. Of course, I was a teacher. We raised over $777,000 for Ellis Island and help with the restoration of the Statue of Liberty.
When we became involved in the World War II Memorial campaign to raise funds for that beautiful memorial on the mall, we became an active partner. We raised over $460,000 for that memorial and had the opportunity to work with Robert Dole, who was the volunteer national chairman.
We raised over $4.2 million for the renovation and restoration of the buildings. And the fact that the daughters gave so generously and we could do so many wonderful things to the buildings.
My President General's project began the creation of a new digital database designed to improve operations and provide member access. The work of our genealogy department was expedited with the digitization of 800,000 applications and the accompanying 9 million support documents.
My primary goal when I was elected President General was to complete the digitization project that was begun in the previous administration. That was a continuing President General's project. A few of the proudest moments were the dedication ceremony of the Marian Anderson commemorative stamp, and it was a wonderful opportunity for there to be a wonderful relationship established between the DAR and Ms. Anderson's family.
Certainly proud of the work we did on the President General's project, especially work on the North Terrace with the flooding and stone deterioration. It was in critical need of work. We were able to, under the terrace, to build a 2,300 square foot vault just beneath that surface for collections of the society, and that was a wealth of storage space.
As crazy as it seems, Washington, D.C. experienced an earthquake. When they did the assessment of the DAR library ley-light ceiling, they discovered not damage from the earthquake, but damage from time. And our members who love our House Beautiful so much came through with over $2 million to support the restoration of the DAR library ley-light.
Most fun activities that we implemented was our Celebrate America committee. When we met, we challenged our members to try to come up with 1 million hours of community service a year. We just asked them to record their hours they're already doing in their community. And what astonished us is the enthusiasm that the chapters developed while working together in these community projects, how they became better acquainted with their own members. And then our first year, we had over 4,760,000 hours of community service.
My advice for future President General, enjoy every minute, yeah. Work hard and enjoy it, yeah.
I think one thing is very important, and that is to approach your leadership as an opportunity for service, and to surround yourself with wonderful people who will help you to.
Their goal should be to work for the very best of the organization, to always keep in mind what the mission is, and to do their very best for DAR. I think any President General who's going to take that role needs to know that she's got to put on her running shoes and get on the track, and she won't get off for 3 years.
Always be true to yourself, and when you make a decision about anything, always be certain of what that decision will reflect on as far as the National Society is concerned, and also what influence it might have on other daughters at the time. So when you look in the mirror, be true to yourself and always think about others.
I hope every member will consider becoming a leader, whether it's in her chapter or her state or the national level. What I would encourage them to do is to learn as much as you can about the DAR. Take advantage of every opportunity. Go to all those meetings, go to the workshops and the seminars, and learn as much as possible. But it's not possible to serve as President General without the full support of your family. That it truly is the biggest sacrifice, is the time with my family that I'm missing. they are completely supportive because they know that this is a rare privilege that I have for 3 years, and I'm enjoying every bit of it.
The most rewarding things as a member of DAR has been the association with ladies from all over the United States and through the units overseas. The friendships made have been just precious and dear, and I think every member will feel that way about the friendships.
The 125th anniversary is the perfect time to reflect on the energy and the mindset of our founders.
One of the things that I feel has occurred over the past 25 years is that the DAR has been able to better accommodate the busy woman, women who are working outside the home, women who have so many things going on in their lives. I think we've done a wonderful job of accommodating them in terms of an organization.
Celebrating the 125th anniversary of the society, I can't help but think back over the years and reflect on all the leaders that we've had and all the members that have done so much over the years and their dedication to the work of the society. It's really amazing when you think about it, that a small group of women organized this society in 1890, and yet many of their goals are still being sought after today, and we're working towards making this a continuing better society.
My involvement in DAR has always been spurred by the values of the organization and the friendships that I've made there. I have to say that one of the things that DAR allowed me to do is emulate the very best of the people I met.
I've often wondered as we're planning our Quasquicentennial celebration what our founders would think of us from 125 years ago when they began to have the vision for this organization and make plans for it. What would they think if they were to come back and see this society now and see how it's grown, see what wonderful care we've taken of these buildings, which they had the vision for? I know that our founders would be so proud that our society has grown, that we're continuing to be a vital part of this country, that we're holding dear to our missions of historic preservation, education, and patriotism, and that most of all, we're still honoring God, home, and country as we serve united in these United States. 125 years ago when our founders met for the first time, they determined we needed a fireproof building and managed to not only raise the money, but build this beautiful complex of buildings. The Guardian Trust campaign is the way for today's DAR to provide for tomorrow's DAR. Now is the time to create this endowment fund to preserve our buildings for the future.
When our founders and the early leaders of the DAR, they had the courage to step out in faith and to bit by buy the property, and then stone by stone they built the building. And they didn't get the roof on for the First Continental Congress. And when they finally finished it, they realized that every one of the Presidents General involved had been supportive and willing to promote the project.
Certainly our younger daughters that are daughters now, and those that will become members in the future, will always be proud of these buildings. To know the history of that small band of women that built these buildings is just incredible, that story. And we all want to continue that legacy. All of our members are proud to say that this is buildings that were built and maintained by women.
We can proudly say that we not only have a large collection of personal artifacts from the American Revolution, we have one of the largest collection of genealogical libraries in the world. We have a fabulous DAR museum that we share with school children every week that never have an opportunity to see museums otherwise. Constitution Hall has nearly 1 million visitors a year. It's the largest concert hall in the metropolitan D.C. area. Most of all, our founders had a vision for a home, we have a home right here at 1776 D Street. When you think of preserving these buildings, I think you have to remember what we have in this building, those beautiful period rooms. Think of the Americana room and all of those precious documents, all of the furnishings throughout our buildings. Just think of the buildings, the architecture itself. That preservation effort is awesome. It is something that we're committed to doing, and it takes resources to do that. We have inherited these, and it's up to us to protect and preserve them.
I think my first impression of a visit to 1776 D Street was that the entire complex of buildings was absolutely overwhelming. And then experiences of being in Constitution Hall at the meetings and the opening night and National Defense Night ceremonies. I think that all of these things for a young DAR member were very impressionable experiences because it was an overwhelming thing to be there for the first time.
Well, most of the time, a President General has not had the opportunity to make a choice because of the needs of the maintenance of our headquarters. A President General should not be forced to take that on as her project. Our President General should take out projects that go beyond our headquarters, out into the world around us. What has been done in the past is there to remain. What will be done in today's world will be there to remain in future years. So everything we've done has not been in vain. So it is high time that we create some kind of an endowment that will preserve those buildings for years to come.
It would be wonderful to have that endowment so you didn't have each administration have to have a project to raise funds for this, to prepare this building or do that building or anything else like that. So that's all taken care of so they can go ahead and do marvelous things, more things with students, the education and conservation and restoration.
And I see this Guardian Trust campaign as one that may take several administrations to raise the money, but our members will realize that they're doing the same thing today that our early members did in order to build the buildings, and they're building a fund, the Guardian Trust Fund, that will take care of our buildings forever.
Can you imagine what we would be able to do as an organization if we didn't have to worry about where the funds are coming from to maintain our beautiful buildings? Can you imagine what we could do on the national level, on the state level, and in our local communities in the way of programs and projects? So I invite you, each and every one of you members who love this organization, who are committed to preserving what we have for future generations, to join me in supporting the Guardian Trust campaign. My hope, my vision, is that we will have this wonderful endowment campaign, and that 125 years our buildings will be as beautiful then as they are now. I want my granddaughter to come here in 18 years when she's a member and be proud of these buildings that we've taken good care of. I want my great-granddaughter and my great-great-granddaughters to come when they're members and also share in our vision and say, my great-grandma took part in this. She helped keep these buildings as beautiful as they are. What this organization needs first and foremost is a home.
Built by women, managed by women, run by women.
What our founders built, we must preserve.
It should be the finest building ever owned by women.
This is about more than just one President General and one project.
Now is the time for an endowment to preserve our fantastic home.
This Guardian Trust campaign is about taking care of the vision of our founders. 125 years later, we have the opportunity to not only preserve and restore this building, but to make sure that it is still as beautiful 125 years from now as it is today. Please join me in giving to the Guardian Trust campaign for future generations. almost 1 million women have joined the society since its founding. We want to show the hundreds of thousands or even millions of hours they have given in service to their communities, and to show that they are passionate about their preservation of our history, promotion of quality education, and of showing their patriotic pride in America.
The Celebrate America initiative was created in honor of the 125th anniversary of the Daughters of the American Revolution. It encourages members to become involved in community service and to record their hours to help highlight the mission of the service organization.
We decided to call it Celebrate America because it's our way to show how DAR gives back to our communities. We have such a history of service within the organization, and we are so willing to share our time and talents with others to make America an even better place.
DAR members have answered the call for service throughout the group's history. In the late 19th century, the newly formed organization helped found the Army Nurse Corps at the onset of the Spanish-American War. For decades, the DAR supported the mission of the Red Cross in times of crisis, and members worked with newly arrived immigrants on Ellis Island.
What if we challenged our members to 1 million hours over the 3 years? And that seemed a little scary. I did the math and divided it by our number of members. Well, what if we challenged them to 1 million hours a year? And so as we quickly exceeded that goal, we realized we underestimated the daughters and how hard they're working nationwide. So now we've set a new goal of 10 million hours for the administration, and I think we may have once again underestimated our members.
DAR members have long been involved in community service. Now through Celebrate America, they are also logging their hours to tell the story of how DAR gives back to America.
We have received hundreds of stories of how our members are working in their communities worldwide. We have a member in Arkansas who has her therapy dog called Stormy, and she takes Stormy to a local elementary school to help students who are having trouble with reading. One of my other favorite stories is a 70-year-old member in Louisiana who wanted to draw attention as part of an organization to the number of children in foster care in Louisiana. So what did she do? She rappelled down a building. One of our members in Massachusetts works with a VA-sponsored program called Waves for the Brave. They take veterans who have amputations, take them to the beach, and let them surf. And then this lady served as a catcher in the water. So if they fell, if they had any problems, she was there to catch them and bring them in.
Whether DAR members are escorting World War II veterans on honor flights, caring for historic sites, helping bring awareness to health issues, or working with underserved youth, the Daughters are celebrating America through service to their communities.
The beauty of the Celebrate America program is the cumulative effect it has. However we're doing it, we are making a difference, and that's the story we want to be able to tell.
Knowing that other people care and that other people are out there wanting to do something good in their community, I think that's really powerful.
As DAR members, when we think of service, it's very broad, and it is from the gifts that each person has to contribute.
When you volunteer, not only are you taking all of the talents and the experiences that you have and putting them to work in the community, but you're also building up the community at the same time.
We want a society founded on service. That was a quotation taken directly from Eugenia Washington, one of our founders. And over the last 125 years, that is exactly what has happened. DAR members have been involved in service to their communities from the beginning of the organization, and we continue to do that today. DAR itself is a very large organization. Almost 3,000 chapters in every state of the Union, as well as in numerous countries across the world. Those 177,000 women, wherever they find themselves, can impact their communities in very positive ways. So it starts from a very small effort. It might be a member recognizing the need that their community needs a food pantry, and she decides to organize it. She's making a difference in her community because one person saw the need, and decided to act on it?
So I've been volunteering with Carpenter Shelter, I believe, for about 8.5 years. So now I generally volunteer on Sunday mornings. My very favorite responsibility is announcing breakfast. And it's my sole job to wake up the residents on Sunday mornings and tell them what an amazing breakfast is waiting for them.
Associations in the community and community groups and the DAR and many other service organizations in our community really do make a difference, and we try and build as many connections to them as possible, recognizing that we do have a shared interest, healthy, strong communities.
DAR only recently formed the Special Projects Grants Program at the national level, but DAR daughters have been helping their communities for the past 125 years. Matching fund grants of up to $10,000 are awarded in the areas of historic preservation, education, and patriotism. Over the past few years, DAR has awarded over $250,000 annually in support of local activities.
The Bath Community Library was founded in 1701, and it was founded because someone in England sent books to the St. Thomas Parish, which is here in Bath. And it started then, and it's been going ever since. The DAR grant was one that would fund technology, computer technology. What we wanted to do was to get more computers so that we could offer classes. We even bought new computers for the staff. They had problems even checking out books sometimes, so now they're able to serve the patrons so much better because of the computer technology that the DAR grant paid for.
Without the support of the DAR Special Grant Program, we would not be able to offer computer classes. We wouldn't be able to have room to bring in additional books as we were cramped before. Patrons' attendance has increased. We have community functions here. All of this we would be without the support of the DAR.
Free Minds uses the tools of books, a book discussion, and creative writing to build a brotherhood and to enable these young men to see new possibilities for their futures. That is what I love about the DAR, like how it's so firmly planted that literacy and education is the way to change the world. It's hope, it's power. And so that started us off, that special projects grant on our Books Across the Miles. And we have to report today, it's amazingly successful.
We met Free Minds when they were just starting to grow. They work with incarcerated youth, and many of them are illiterate or close to that. And as a chapter, we were trying to find things that we could do and be a part and make an impact and have fun. So it just really came all together. For DAR to be involved in Free Minds or in similar activities where we're working with parts of the community that really many people have given up on. That's very rewarding.
I'm very grateful for DAR's support, and I know our members are too, because we get all the books. And, you know, without the books, there wouldn't be a book club. DAR is an organization that accepts them. You know, they know that they made a mistake, but they also believe in them to the point of their continuous support.
For a person like me to come from deep in the streets, like I didn't know anything about positive life. I always looked at criminal activity as life. So once I was able to read and comprehend, I took off from there. I became a positive individual, and that's what I want to continue to be, a positive individual. And it's great for y'all to help.
The capability that I have is to reach out to all of our program managers out in the field, and I simply ask them that question: how are DAR members making a difference in your facility? And in literally a matter of hours, I had emails flooding in telling me about the stories. The impact that DAR has on the veteran community today is very important, because the DAR members continue to come into our VA hospitals and serve in a number of capacities. That gives veterans today an opportunity to remember that there is an organization and there is a community that cares about them and remembers their sacrifice and service to America.
What I like most about DAR's objectives is that its focus is really on giving back to the community around you. I know the three focuses are historic preservation, education, and patriotism, and I feel like those three focuses really align a lot with the volunteer activities that I want to be involved in.
DAR support has been an ability for us as a small organization to expand our reach much farther than we ever thought we could.
It's important for each person to find a way to give back, to be able to volunteer. We are members of a community. We need to be there. We can be there. And we have to look for those opportunities.
Everywhere, DAR members are making a difference in so many different ways across our VA community, and it's heartwarming to be able to get those stories come flooding in so quickly with immediate recollection of how DAR has contributed to the work of VA.
What I am so attracted to about the DAR is how we pull together women of common interests in historic preservation and education and patriotism. And we do real work with real impact and have a great time doing it. Personally, I was attracted to the three key mission areas because of that connection to history, about my family's history, and understanding more about how we're all interconnected and how each one of our patriots made such a difference in their own way, and now we are carrying that torch, and we want to carry it into the future.
Women working together for America, sharing a bond that has lasted for generations. These are the Daughters of the American Revolution, dedicated to their love of God, home, and country.
I'm very proud to be a member of the DAR because it encompasses all that I believe in.
More than 2 centuries after their patriot ancestors founded this nation, today's DAR is still preserving the ideals that made America great by serving communities across the country.
You get this wonderful feeling at the end of the day that I have accomplished something. I have made a difference. And the people's lives that you touched are infinitely more enriched because DAR has walked into their lives.
The DAR's commitment to America begins with its newest citizens. Today's daughters attend naturalization ceremonies like this one in Houston, Texas. It's a moment the Ramirez family has dreamed about, watching their daughter Cindy become an American.
The first time they say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States as citizens of the United States, it is a moving experience. It reminds us of how fortunate we are to have lived in this country for so many generations.
The DAR has supported immigrants since the days of Ellis Island, providing them with a citizenship manual and a warm welcome.
And we want them to understand that we're glad that they're citizens and we recognize the commitment that they've made.
They made us feel that we're no different, that we belong, and that's very important for us.
This day is a very blessed day for me. I've been waiting for this day.
To see their appreciation and to see their joy, I'm grateful to be able to share the day with them.
The DAR has been proudly serving the public since 1890, when it was founded as an organization for women who are direct descendants of Revolutionary War patriots. Today's DAR is one of the largest service groups with 168,000 members and 3,000 chapters in the United States and abroad. Each year, daughters meet for Continental Congress at their Washington, D.C. headquarters. But the DAR is more than its pageantry, history, and beautiful buildings. Its members make it unique.
The DAR member of today is definitely not a fence-sitter.
She's very well educated. She's a professional. She is the retiree. She is the stay-at-home mom.
People think that DAR is for old ladies. My slogan is, it's not your great-grandmother's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
We have women of all color, of all religions, of all politics.
The diversity in DAR really attracted me to the organization because it's a really great group of women who are very dynamic and have a wide range of skills and experiences, and I've really learned a lot from them.
Some of the most remarkable women that you will ever hope to meet are here in DAR. They're just fabulous to work with.
The DAR is growing and it's changing, and I want to be a part of that change.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
Today's Daughters are a diverse group with a common goal. Their mission is to promote patriotism, education, and historic preservation.
It is the spirit of DAR, the spirit of patriotism, the spirit of service, wanting to do something for someone else.
We can make an impact in this country, and I think that the more people can hear about DAR and the more people can know what we do, the more impact we can actually make.
The DAR's patriotism is felt every day in the nation's veterans' hospitals, like these facilities in Nashville, Tennessee, and San Francisco, California, where DAR volunteers spend thousands of hours visiting patients.
I heard you were handsome and debonair, and they weren't lying. What an honor to meet you.
That's too kind to me.
DAR members bring these veterans who fought for America gifts and a message from the heart.
I get to say to them, thank you. I'm thinking of you. We love you. We appreciate what you do. I don't think they hear that enough. I don't think we can ever say thank you enough. We're backed up by thousands of other DAR women who feel the same way. And that's the beauty of it. There's a power behind that. And the guys and the women feel it.
I appreciate it. It's pretty cherished. Just people care. We're here for a reason. And it's nice to know that people think about it.
Veterans can depend on DAR members to give their time and money. The California DAR is donating Liberty carts like this one to transport disabled veterans around VA medical centers.
If we can show our troops by even small gestures that we support them, that we respect them, and we recognize what they've done, we've done a great deal.
We thank them very, very much.
Today's Daughters are also working to benefit our troops overseas through projects like So Much Comfort. This grassroots group headquartered near Dayton, Ohio, adapts clothing for injured soldiers who've worn hospital gowns for months. It relies on volunteers like these Ohio Daughters to help sew and ship thousands of garments.
It is something I can do. I can't go over there and hold something to help them out and give them some dignity.
This gives them back their life. And what more can you do?
Whenever there is a need, today's Daughters are there supporting America's military. The DAR Project Patriot Committee assembles care packages for wounded troops. Virginia daughter Bridget Ward knows how much these comfort items mean. She's delivered packages to fellow troops in Landstuhl, Germany.
I'm proud to be a member of the Armed Services of the United States, but I'm honored to be a daughter of the American Revolution.
And then there's Texas daughter Pamela Marshall. For this mother of two sons serving in combat areas overseas, DAR's patriotic mission is deeply personal.
As a mother, my heart is full. And as a citizen, I'm extremely grateful.
It is DAR support for education that gives thousands of young people hope for a better life. In places like Grant, Alabama, a mountain community with few opportunities until the DAR built a school here in 1924.
Ladies from all over the United States gave the funds to build those buildings. It's just an amazing story.
Today, the Kate Duncan Smith DAR School has 1,300 students in grades K through 12. KDS is one of 6 schools nationwide partially funded with DAR donations. These students not only get an education with an emphasis on patriotism, they also receive personal attention from DAR members.
They don't just teach you from the textbooks, but they help you with real-life problems too.
It fills my heart with so much joy and gratefulness and pride in this school. I really can't express it, and I appreciate it so much, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
I would say thank you, DAR, because you have built not only a school, you have built a community that will continue to thrive for many generations and years to come.
KDS senior and musician Lindsay Atchley will be able to go to college thanks to the DAR.
It's inspired me, I guess, to encourage other people and to make a difference, or just, just be a good citizen.
You can reach out and help a child to make a difference in their lives. They in turn will make a difference in the life of our country.
Today's daughters work with schools and literacy programs across the country. They recognize young people with scholarships and good citizenship awards. These New Jersey students are winners of the DAR annual essay contest, which helps children learn about history. DAR education programs also go far beyond the classroom.
Welcome to the Pink Ribbon House. You ladies are in for a special treat today.
Texas chapters gave tours of this designer-decorated Pink Ribbon House in Houston, owned by Royce Hassel and his wife Sylvia, a breast cancer survivor. The tours raised more than $500,000 for medical research.
We can help educate members and other people about the prevention and early detection for breast cancer, and just in general help them know more about how breast cancer can affect their lives.
To have them volunteer so many hours for free, it was a big deal. It was very touching to me.
The DAR is dedicated to preserving America's historic landmarks, places like Meadow Garden in Augusta, Georgia. Built around 1790, this was the home of George Walton, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence.
It's important that we preserve this history and that we learn to appreciate our past, and it will hopefully give us courage and insight to move forward and to be better citizens.
Georgia Daughters not only maintain this property, but they've also launched a campaign to attract tours so more people can learn about George Walton's contributions.
And this is one way we can teach our children that there were men and women who were willing to sacrifice their homes and their lives and their property to give us the freedom that we have.
The DAR has preserved hundreds of local properties and placed markers at historical sites across the nation. Its library also preserves one of the largest collections of genealogy records. To join the DAR, women must trace their lineage to a Revolutionary War patriot, any soldier or civilian who aided the cause. But with the help of DAR genealogists and the Internet, getting started on the research isn't hard.
We discover new patriots every day, patriots of all backgrounds. And there are a lot of people here who are willing to help you find what you need.
You can go to them, ask them for anything, you can share. It's just beautiful.
For Tennessee daughter Pazetta Millette, it turned out to be a fascinating journey of discovery.
I was so excited, I couldn't sleep.
Not only did she find relatives she never knew, but she also uncovered family history lost for generations, history that can now be passed on to her children and grandchildren.
To see what your ancestor did, the contribution that they made, history just comes to life.
Today's daughters are not only preserving the past, they also care about America's future. These seal pups were rescued along the California coast. Marine mammal centers treat these injured animals and return them to the wild. It's one of many conservation programs the DAR supports. However they choose to serve, today's daughters are committed to their mission.
To me personally, it means making an impact in my community and being right there and just learning and growing. And it's just been an amazing experience in my life.
Like many women, Lindsay Whitty is balancing the demands of a busy life. She joined a chapter that meets on Saturdays to accommodate members' needs.
Everybody can find a niche, and everybody can find their particular place that they fit in the best.
I just think as a young woman especially, you need an outlet for yourself. You need something to do that will make you feel good about yourself, you'll find good friends, and you'll be able to also give back.
I'm today's DAR. I'm today's DAR. I'm today's DAR.
For today's daughters, DAR membership offers so many rewards.
You will meet ladies who you will become friends with for the rest of your life.
And you just make friends all over the United States and even all over the world. Their friendship and knowing them will add a new layer and a new dimension to your life.
This is really what's kept me going. It's what keeps me young. It keeps me interested.
We have a lot of fun, let me tell you, we really do.
It fills your heart and soul. Every little pocket of your heart and soul can be filled by something that DAR offers you.
And to know that you are united with 100,000 plus women, it's incredible.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
Today's DAR is carrying on its tradition of patriotism and service, giving its best to America.
We are fortunate to be Americans, and it is up to us to continue the legacy that our founders began and to make this a better country.
una rancho grande, allá donde vivía. Había una rancherita que alegre me decía, alegre me decía, te voy a hacer tus cabrones, como los que usa el ranchero, de los caminos del año. From out yonder, out where the buffalo wander, free as an eagle flight, I'm a roping and a tie, I'm a roping and a tie. Give me my ranch and my cattle, far from the great city's rattle. A big herd to battle, for I just love herding cattle. Ay, una rancho grande, ay, donde vivía. Había una rancherita que alegre me decía, alegre me decía.
How about Katie Daly?
Oh, yeah. G. George.
Get it going.
The other G.
G. Come on down the mountain, Katie Daly. Come on down the mountain, Katie Daly. Can't you hear us calling Katie Daly? We wanna drink a good old Mountain Dew. When her old man, she came from Tipperary in the pioneer days of '42. Her old man was shot in Kingston City for making him good old Mountain Dew. Come on down the mountain, Katie Daly. Come on down the mountain, Katie Daly. Can't you hear us calling Katie Daly? We wanna drink a good old Mountain Dew. Wake up and pay attention, Katie Daly. I'm the judge that's gonna sentence you. All the boys in court have drank the whiskey. Tell the truth, I drank a little too. Come on down the mountain, Katie Daly. Come on down the mountain, Katie Daly. Can't you hear us calling Katie Daly? We wanna drink a good old Mountain Dew. Go to the village for Katie Daly, and very soon the gates were open wide. Angel came called Katie Daly, and took her across the great divide. Come on down the mountain, Katie Daly. Come on down the mountain, Katie Daly. Can't you hear us calling Katie Daly? We wanna drink a good old Mountain Dew. Yeah, we wanna drink a good old Mountain Dew.
This song is Worried Man Blues. It's in the key of G. Well, it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. And I'm worried now. 16 coaches long. That train that I am riding, 16 coaches long. The train that I am riding, the 16 coaches long, and the gal I love, well, she's on that train and gone. I looked down that track as far as I could see. I looked down that track as far as I could see. I looked down that track as far as I could see, and a little bitty hand was waving back at me. And it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. And I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long.
Two is E for echo. Play it any way you want. That's where. Constant sorrow. In constant sorrow all through his days. I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen troubles all my days. Farewell to old country. you requested that one.
This one's hard to hang on to. How about You Are My Sunshine?
Good. Wow, I haven't heard that one in a long time. I'll sing in on the chorus.
The other night, dear, as I lay still, I dreamed I held you in my arms. But when I woke, dear, I was mistaken, and I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray.
I saw the light, key of G like in George. I wandered so aimless, life filled with sin. I wounded my dear Savior in. Then Jesus came like a stranger in the night. Oh, the praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light of the Lord God. Now I'm
When the Saints are marching in.
Yeah. When he first came.
Doing G, guys.
Doing better when I first got in. A lot.
Heartache by the number.
All right.
Can you pick that D?
Yeah, I reckon it, but I don't know if you can hear it from there.
Well, let's see. Okay, well, heartache number one was you left me. I never knew that I could hurt this way. And heartache number two was you come back again. You came back but never meant to stay.
All right.
Now I've got heartaches by the number, trouble by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number, a love that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. Number three was when you called me and said that I waited for your knock on the door. I waited, but you must have lost your way. Now I've got heartaches by the number, trouble by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number, a love that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end.
Good job.
When the Saints go marching in.
D for dolphin, G for fish. G for goat. Well, T for Texas, T for Tennessee. Yeah, T for Texas, T for Tennessee. And T for Bell. Yeah, that made a ring out of me. Gonna buy me a shotgun, long as I am tall. Yeah, gonna buy me a shotgun, long as I am tall. Gonna shoot that around, just to watch him jump and fall. Doodle-dee, doodle-dee, doodle-dee. If you don't want me, mama, you sure don't have to fall. If you don't want me, mama, you sure don't have to fall. I can get more wind than a faster train can haul. I'm going where the water tastes like cherry wine. Yeah, I'm going where the water tastes like cherry wine. 'Cause it's north of water, it's like turpentine. I'd rather drink muddy water, sleeping in a hollow log. Rather drink muddy water, sleeping in a hollow log, than to be here in that well, treated like a dirty dog. Oh, man, take the blues out of me. If you're ever down in Mobile, you can look me up. If you're ever down in Mobile, be sure to look me up. If you're ever in that line, now this is the time is up. Well, keep for Texas, keep for Tennessee. Yeah, keep for Texas, keep for Tennessee. Keep for Bell. Yeah, that made a wreck out of me. Doodle-dee, doodle-dee, doodle-dee.
Like, my voice will hold up.
Keep going, keep going. You need a mic?
It's in G.
Okay. Go ahead on, man. We'll play it.
No one can ever hold the wind, so don't waste your time holding on to me. Just let my loving bend. I'm gone again. For there's one thing, little girl, you must see. As long as the wind blows, as long as the rivers flow, as long as the train whistles scream, as long as the wild goose flies, as long as the buck tide rises, there's
do a fun song. It's called 5 Pounds of Possum. In my headlights tonight.
Okay, now don't go too fast.
Okay. Well, my children are hungry. My dog needs a bone. I'm out of a job now. I'm just driving home. An hour after sundown, and much to my delight, there's 5 pounds of possum in my headlights tonight. 5 pounds of possum in my headlights tonight. If I can run him over, everything will be alright. We'll have possum gravy. What a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds of possum in my headlights tonight. Well, we won't have to kill no chickens. Open their heads just a little bit closer. I'll have my hands. I think the time has come now to go dim to bright. There's 5 pounds of possum in my headlights tonight. Oh, 5 pounds of possum in my headlights tonight. If I can run him over, everything will be alright. We'll have possum gravy. What a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds of possum in my headlights tonight. 5 pounds of possum in my headlights tonight. Go too fast.
Good deed. How about cold, cold heart? Ready, guys? Here we go. Well, I tried so hard, my dear, to show that you're my every dream. Yet you're afraid each thing I do is just some evil scheme. A memory from your lonesome past keeps us so far apart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? Another love before my time made your heart sad and blue. And so my heart is paying now for things I didn't do. In anger, unkind words are said and make the teardrops start to. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? You'll never know how much it hurt to see you sad and cry. You know you need and want my love, but you're afraid to try. Why do you run and hide from life? To try it just ain't smart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? There was a time when I believed that you belonged to me, but now I know your heart is shackled of memory. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and have your cold heart? Yeah. Oh, your poison love is straight like blood in my heart and soul. And I know my life will never be the same. All my pleading never been in vain. You and you alone. And I know that you are guilty of the shame. Into each life a loving cold one and one alone. The love I chose was truly not for me. Poison love is pain like blood in my heart and soul. And I know our love was never meant to be. But still my heart cries out for you, you alone, my darling. And make me never ever let you go. My pleading never been in vain, you alone. And my better judgment will need to say no. For your poison love has drained the life blood in my heart and soul. And I know my life will never be the same. My pleading never been in vain, you alone. And I know that you are guilty of the shame. Poison love has drained the life blood in my heart and soul. And I know my life will never be the same. For my pleading never been in vain, you alone. And I know that you are guilty of the shame.
Good job, Wilson.
All right.
How about Paradise? You guys like Paradise?
Yes.
Yes. Indeed. You guys ready? You good? When I was a child, my family would travel down to western Kentucky, where my parents were born. And their love that was there, I'll often remember many times my memories will come. Daddy once brought me back from Lincoln County, down to the Green River, where the paradise lay. Well, I'm sorry, my son, you played nasty,
This song is Rollin' My Sweet Baby's Arms. It's in the key of G, like in George. Okay. Well, I ain't gonna work on the railroad. I ain't gonna work on the farm. I'm gonna lay around that shack till that mail train comes back and roll in my sweet baby's arms. Oh, roll in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna roll in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna lay around that shack till that mail train comes back and roll in my sweet baby's arms. Oh, where were you last Saturday night while I was lying down in bed? Well, you were out with another man and wouldn't go my bail. Mama was a beauty operator. Sister could weave and spin. And Daddy had an interest in an old cotton mill. Wanted that money rolled in. Oh, roll in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna roll in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna lay around that shack till that mail train comes back and roll in my sweet baby's arms. I know your parents don't like me. They run me away from the door. If I had my life to live over again, I wouldn't go back anymore. Last time rolled in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna roll in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna roll down the shack till that mail train comes back, and I'll roll in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna roll in my sweet baby's arms.
Good job. Be sure to take your poop bag with you.
It's a Webb Pierce song, guys. Oh, I'm walking the dog, and I'm never blue. I'm walking the dog, ain't thinking about you. I don't need no one to tie me down. I'm walking the dog, I'm a pain in the town. Such an easy life I never knew until that day that I left you. Well, I'm a carefree lad that's seen the light. I'm a walking the dog all the day and all night. Well, I'm full of strength, I just can't grow old. I got a one-track mind, so I've been told. But I'm fancy free, I don't worry no how. I'm a walking dog all along the line. Such an easy life I never knew until that day that I left you. Well, I'm a carefree lad that's seen the light, and I'm a walking the dog
all the day and I hold my hand. Good job.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
Oh, yeah.
Swing low, sweet chariot. Down the if you get there before I do, come and carry me home. Well, dig the big great big hole and pull me on through. Come and carry me home. In my mind, I'm going to do an old cowboy song in C. Under the boardwalk? G5, called Under the Boardwalk. Well, I didn't want to get out of order here and get accused. Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar upon the roof, and your shoes get so hot, you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, oh Lord, on a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun, under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be making some love. Under the boardwalk, from the park you hear happy sound from a carousel. You can almost taste the hot dogs and french fries they sell. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, oh Lord, on a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be making some love. Under the boardwalk.
This is a Johnny Rodriguez song.
All right.
We like Johnny. Somewhere between your heart and mine.
Uh-oh, I never heard that one.
Oh, you haven't heard that one?
No, I mean, I don't think so.
That's
almost as like them too, but I haven't heard it.
Your heart, mine. There's a window that I can't see through. There's a wall so high it reaches the sky. Somewhere between me and you. I love you so much I can't let